Let's take you to another part of the US, well actually the whole of the US, where inflation continues to soar, raising the risk of a hefty rate hike next month. Consumer prices rose by 8.2% last month, but economists were more concerned about so-called core inflation, which strips out the volatile food and energy components. That measure increased by an annual rate of 6.6%, the fastest pace in 40 years. Fears of another jump in borrowing rates lifted the US dollar against its trading partners, including beleaguered British sterling, placing even more pressure on the UK economy. Well, let's cross over to London, where Arise Business correspondent Laurie Laird has the latest from the financial world. Good to see you, Laurie. Inflation far from its peak then.
Right, so there's cut into your...
So many officials in the U.S., but in other places further afield, saying, don't worry. The line was at first, when inflation first started to flare, don't worry, this is transitory. Remember that word? Then we heard, don't worry, it's peaked. It's peaked. Well, no, it clearly hasn't peaked. We're still seeing a bit of a rise in inflation. And the thing that really will concern the Fed, as it will other central banks worldwide, is now that this inflation has spread beyond energy, which was sparked by the war in Ukraine. It's spread beyond food, also affected by the war in Ukraine. It's now hitting all areas of the economy. The statisticians who put this report together said that the inflation was broad-based. If we take out food and energy, which are very volatile components, and look at everything else, inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. This will be very, very scary for policymakers. It'll be very, very scary for Joe Biden as he faces, or as his Democratic Party faces re-election shortly.
Well, absolutely. And of course, there'll be another big interest rate hike, possibly from the Federal Reserve. But moving beyond that, because we've got a minute and a half or so left, a stronger dollar, of course, means weaker sterling. What's the latest out of the UK where you are?
I'll try and do it in a minute and a half, Charles, because it's been yet another eventful day. I think the top line out of the UK today is lots of reports, not confirmed, but they seem to be pretty hard, is that the government, Liz Truss, is thinking about more U-turns in her fiscal policy. The speculation seems to be that an interest rate cut a corporate interest rate hike that she was going to reverse, that will no longer be reversed. So corporate tax rates, something that she promised to handle on the campaign trail, they may not be coming down the line anytime soon. In fact, there's some talk that she may actually have to put corporate tax rates up, all waiting for a word on the government from that. It may not come until Kwasi Kwarteng gets back from Washington where at those IMF meetings, but it does feel like another U-turn may be coming down the pike.
Laurie, thanks very much indeed. Laurie Laird, Arise Business correspondent, talking to me from London there.